What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my builds guide and unit review of our latest Grandeur Battle unit, Cyril. So he's a red infantry archer, which is pretty unique, and he's a trainee BST unit, which means that he has got 5 more BST than the regular range units in this generation. So it allows him to score higher in arena, which is really amazing for free-to-play players, and it does mean that he's not going to be getting outdated as fast as the other range units of this generation, at least when it comes to the BST. So he has got aptitude arrows as his preferred weapon, and this is effective on flying units and does give him +3 speed. So giving him the speed is definitely pretty nice when he does have 44 base speed, and at start of combat, if he's at or above 25% HP, he can basically get +10 to all of his stats. Now this gives him the extra stats depending on 25% of his level, and obviously you're going to be using him at like level 40, so this does translate to +10 to all of his stats, which is pretty good. And then he has got true damage based on 20% of his speed, and this is actually including the AoE specials, but because he doesn't have -1 special cooldown, he's not really going to be running the AoE specials that much. And then finally, he can neutralize any kind of penalties on him, so that is really useful if you're not using him with Legendary Male Robin, because the penalties can be a really annoying thing, and at least he's not going to be getting slowed down by any kind of speed debuff, which is going to be a lot more annoying if he didn't have this effect. So overall, aptitude arrows is a pretty decent weapon. I wouldn't really say that it's the most insane weapon, but getting +10 to all of these stats is really good as a free-to-play unit, and on top of that, getting the true damage means that his damage output is going to be a bit better. He does have 42 base attack, so he's not lacking when it comes to the offenses, and we don't really have any kind of red bone infantry units when it comes to the free-to-play pool, and we can just compare him to the last generation of the archers like Dorothy and Kiragi. So he obviously doesn't have as much attack as Dorothy, but still with his weapon he's able to get the extra stats, and he does have a lot more defense than Dorothy, so it does make him a lot more bulky, and you can pretty much see that he's like a upgraded version of Kiragi in a way. He pretty much has the same offenses, but he is going to be a bit more bulky with that extra HP that he has got. Cyril does have base 35 defense, which is definitely not that bad for an archer. A lot of archers usually are going to be having a lot less defense, and he even has a super boon in this, which is not going to be used all that much compared to if he had like a speed super boon, and his HP is also not that bad, so he's actually going to be a bit more bulky than a lot of the archers, and this is again due to the fact that he has got the trainee BST, which definitely helps him. He does have Sudden Panic, which is a new skill in the Grail pool, which was previously only available on Fallen Female Corrin and also on Garrick, so it's really good to have in the Grail pool. And he also has Threat and Speed Defense at 4 stars, so this could be useful if you're trying to fodder off the Summer Dimitri from the Divine Codes. So he is a pretty good unit, and he also has Amazing Fodder, which is new, and you can definitely make use of Sudden Panic on many of the units. Sudden Panic is only available to flyers and infantry units, and I think it is best used with high HP dancers like Fallen Ninian to double down on the support, and also on supportive units like Na, for example. And of course, this could be run on flying units like Brattle Fjorm, for example, who's already going to be stacking up HP for her weapon, and she can also provide guidance for at the same time. So Sudden Panic is weirdly a rare skill, which we had before, and now it is available in the Grail pool. So it is really useful to have this on a lot of the HP stacking units that want to double down on the support. Overall, Cyril is an amazing free-to-play unit with good stat spread and a decent preferred weapon, and he's easily one of the best free-to-play scoring options that we have in the Grail pool, because he can score as a 200 BST unit, as a range unit mind you, which is amazing because he scores same as Vigard and Murdoch from the last generation that we had. So being a range unit means that in arena you just have access to more mobility than an armor unit, and having a higher threat range of a range unit means that you can pretty much force the opponents to use their rally skills and loop with the rally skills, which is really good. So having an armor unit, even if they score 200 BST, is a pain in arena. So Cyril is an amazing free-to-play scoring option in that regard, because he can score really high because of his trainee BST. And this trainee BST does mean that he's going to be having the relevance for the arena scoring and the stats a lot longer than the usual units, which is really good when it comes to the arena options, because they are usually eclipsed by a lot of the newer units of the next generation, but that is not going to be happening with Cyril because I don't think we're going to be getting like a trainee BST range unit in the free-to-play pool that soon after Cyril. So he's amazing when it comes to the arena scoring, honestly, and I can see a lot of free-to-play players investing into him because of that reason. And he's also not that bad in the combat, even though he's lacking the minus and special cooldown in his weapon, so he cannot really use Deadeye that easily. And because he does have the debuff neutralization in his weapon, you cannot exactly use him with grand strategy of Legendary Male Robin and stack it up with Unity skills, so that's something you cannot really do with Aptitude arrows. And if you don't really care too much about arena, then there are of course better archers than Cyril who just have a lot more power and pack a punch. But still, Cyril does bring the value to the free-to-play players in terms of the arena scoring, and also he is offensive and not that frail. If you're going to be building up Cyril on a budget, then I think you can go with Fury, even though it does have the recoil damage and he does have an HP threshold, but it's still not the worst option for like smaller battles like limited battles or arena assault. And Fury does give him extra stats to all of his stats, which does work out with aptitude arrows to make him more bulky, so it can be run. And you can just run reposition and speed defense link from Norn, so I think that can work out on a budget. But if you're trying to give him more skills, then Divine Codes is going to be providing you with attack speed ideal 4, which is going to be pretty nice to be run. And you can just run Moonbow as a special, and you can run Null Follow Up from Lumera, so that is also present in the Grail pool. And Null Follow Up is amazing because he is a faster unit, so he wants to have Null Follow Up, and you can also run Speed Smoke 4 or even Speed Smoke 3 actually, if you're running him on a budget. And he can also take hits in the enemy phase, so that's why I do think that having attack speed form is especially good if you're going to be merging him up. And when it comes to his best IV, I think Speed IV is the one that you pick because offensively it does help you a lot. And I don't think you should be going for like attack IV or defense IV with the trait fruits because speed is really important. And if you're going to be building him up with like some premium skills, then I feel like the finish skill is really good on him because it does work in both phases. It provides him with the healing, which is really good, and the true damage is nice for hitting even harder with the true damage that he gets from his weapon. And physical null follow-up is the best lobby skill for Cyril because it provides him with null follow-up, the speed and defense debuff, and also the damage reduction shredding. Because he doesn't have a minus and special cooldown weapon, Deadeye is not the best special for him unless you run Time Pulse. In that case, it is going to be occupying your slot C, and you can always run physical null follow-up and run something like attack speed Oath 4 or speed smoke 4 and just get more out of your slot C. So I think it could work with a 2 cooldown special like Moonbow or Ruptured Sky. If you're going to be ascending an asset, then I do like attack IV as it does help him offensively, and I think doubling down on the offenses is a lot better than going for the defense super boon. And if you don't really have physical null follow up and if you still want to pierce the damage reduction, then Special Spiral 4 with the finish skill is something that you can run for more true damage, and it could be run with a 2 cooldown special, but you're going to be missing out on null follow up, so it could be run in his Sacred Seal or just be outsourced to another unit who can give him the null follow up status. And attack speed Oath 4 is also an amazing slot C skill that Cyril can run, which is going to be giving him more offenses, which is going to be helping him get the true damage out of his weapon, and it does enable the teleportation, and it's also available in the Divine Codes. Now, one build which you can run with the defense super boon is definitely the close reversal build. So Cyril is bulky than a lot of the archers, and he does get the plus 10 defense from his weapon. So with the defense super boon, close reversal, and a lot of support, he can definitely function with this skill, which a lot of archers cannot really do, and he can still run physical null follow up for the damage reduction, piercing, and also for getting the null follow-up, which is extremely helpful for a fast unit. And Speed Smoke 4 can give him the dodge, which is going to be making him a lot more bulky. And if you're going to be running him with this kind of build, then a healing special can help you with the longevity because he doesn't really have any kind of other healing option in his build. And bonus doubler can be used when you fully buff him up and use him like an Omni tank. So that is also a way of using Cyril. Obviously not the best build for him, but still it is something that Cyril can do, which a lot of archers cannot. You can also use him with Arcane Darkbow if you don't really like his preferred weapon. And Arcane Darkbow is a decent side grade because it does provide you with minus and special cooldown and also the dive bomb effect. So you can just inherit the Flash Barrow and Arcane Darkbow Deadeye from Alchrist and give him speed defense tempo from the Divine Codes. And attack speed Oath 4 is going to be a better skill than defense rest smoke 3. So if you want to have a player phase option, then this is also something that he can do. But I do like his preferred weapon because it's decent enough. And I think as a free-to-play player, you could probably give Arcane Darkbow to a lot of the other archers which do not really have a preferred weapon as decent as Cyril's. Finally, if you're going to be using him in Arena, then you can just run him with the high-scoring assist in rally speed resistance plus or any kind of rally skill, and you can just run a high scoring special like Aether. You can also run Ruptured Sky, but it is a lot rarer than Aether. So Aether is going to be the default option at the very least, and you can run attack speed ideal and null follow-up, and also get attack speed oath from the divine codes. So this is a divine codes build that you can at least, run in arena and score as a 195 BST unit. There isn't any kind of 300 SP slot based skill that you can run from divine codes, unfortunately, so you're gonna be not scoring to his max potential, but still this is something you can do as a high scoring free to play unit. And if you're gonna be making him score to his max potential in arena, then running him with all of the 300 SP passives is something that you should be doing. So attack speed finish 4 is gonna be the best slotty skill, and physical null follow-up, as I mentioned before, is amazing because Deadeye is gonna be a lot harder in arena to trigger, and you can just run attack speed oath for more offenses and simply run him with a 2 cooldown special. So I think that this is the best build that you can run him for arena scoring because he can score as a 200 BST unit if you give him all of the 300 SP passives and high scoring assist and special. Cyril can not only attack stuff in the player phase and finish them off with his high speed and the damage reduction piercing from physical null follow-up, but also bait out many of the units many times, like Duo Dagger for example, because of the color advantage that he has got. So because of the plus and stats that he gets from his weapon, it can often help you in the enemy phase for just baiting out many of the units, which not a lot of range free-to-play units can do. Make sure to share this video with your friends if they're trying to build up Cyril. I went over a lot of build options, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps me tremendously, and if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks down below or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more FEH videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as Murdoch and Vigard, seeing a range unit score as much as them. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.